carry on with note taking in lesson 1.9. I want you to put this title, lesson 1.9, notes 2. Lesson 1.9, that's the title of your page. Lesson 1.9, notes 2. And we're going to practice a couple of these. Now notice they have some fancy, they have some pretty fancy drawings there going on in example 2. Well, we may not be quite, some of you might be able to be as creative as that, but I'm not going to be as creative as that because I only draw stick men. Okay, we're going to do the check it out problems. So write that. We're going to do check it out. And the check it out problem that we're going to do is found on this page, page 70. Okay? And there's 2 of them. Below that example, we're going to work both of those. But they don't have any nice diagram or anything for us in those. So we're going to have to read through it first. And the requirement today is going to be to have a diagram before you start the work. So Cody?
You're saying we need to draw.
We need to draw, that's right. Okay, so 2A. Who wants to read that for us? Julia.
A forest ranger who is 150 centimeters tall casts a shadow of 45 centimeters long. At the same time, a nearby tree casts a shadow of 195 centimeters long. Write some portions of the
Okay, thank you. Now, why do they, even in example 2, they did the same thing. They said, at the same time. Why do you think that's important? Why is it important that it says this forest ranger is casting this shadow, and then it says at the same time a nearby tree is casting a shadow. Why is that important? Who cares if it's at the same time? Cody?
Because you're trying to do proportion and see how tall one of them is to the other.
Okay, so why is it important for the proportion? What did we learn yesterday? What kind of figures were we working with? Geometric figures, and we said that those geometric figures had to be what for us to be able to use the proportion model? Similar. So we need to be able to set up similar figures. And notice they used triangles up above, didn't they? And so why do you think it's important that it's at the same time? What's true about similar figures? What do they have in common? They have the same shape, don't they? So they have to have the same angle measures. So that sun has to be in the same place up in the sky when it's casting, and you're going to be casting the shadow. That sun has to be at the same place for it to create the same angle up there at the top of our triangle. So that's an important part of it. It has to be, we have to keep the same shape. And then what happens when you're standing on the ground? What does your body do with the ground? What kind of an angle does that form? A right angle. A building with the ground, what kind of an angle does it form?
Right angle.
A right angle. A tree with the ground, what kind of angle does it form with it? Yeah, a right angle. So we set up right triangle relationships. Okay, so when we draw these, you really don't have to make a fancy forest ranger or a weeping willow tree. Or Cody?
The only way it won't work is if the man is standing on a hill and the tree is standing on flat land.
So the man is standing at a slant, you mean? And
he's standing straight up, but he's on a hill, so the angle would be different. It would be up
even
to
when
his
you're standing straight up on a hill, are you still not making a right angle with the ground?
If you're on the side of the hill, you aren't.
You're on the side of the hill, you still aren't. Okay. Well, so we'll go with then, just because we want to move on, that at this point the guy is standing at the top of the hill, not on the side of the hill. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have this forest ranger. Let's draw him. Here's our forest ranger. Isn't he a nice forest ranger? Okay. Now, you can be fancier than that if you want, but I'm not going to be. I'm going to call this my forest ranger, FR. And how tall is my forest ranger, do we know?
150 centimeters tall.
150 centimeters tall. Okay, so we're going to label that line segment we just drew as 150 centimeters. And this forest ranger casts a shadow of how much length? And that shadow would be here along the ground, right? So this is 45, did you say? Okay. This is the shadow. You might want to call that, actually write out the word there. And then, what else we're gonna do is with the dotted line, we're just gonna connect the top of our forest ranger to the end of his shadow, so we form our right triangle. So we have this right angle here, and we have this angle up here that should be the same as it's gonna be in our next drawing. So there's our fancy drawing, but we're not done. We also have what? What's going on in this? A tree, okay? So here's our tree. Now, these don't have to be drawn to scale, okay? We're just making drawings so that, is this tree taller than the forest ranger though?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, we'll at least make it longer then. This is our tree. How tall is the tree? 195 centimeters, okay?
No, that's the length of the shadow.
That's the shadow.
That's the shadow.
That's the
Oh, we
shadow.
don't-
Oh,
we don't
okay,
know.
so do we know how tall this tree is? That's what we're solving for?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we gonna call it?
X.
X, okay. X centimeters. We know how long the tree's shadow is, though. It is 195 centimeters, okay. And again, we will just connect the top of the tree with a dashed line to the end of its shadow. We have a right angle with the ground, same time of the day, so this angle is the same as that one. We have triangles of the same shape, so now we can set up a proportion model. Okay. So, what do you want to do? You want to do, Jossie?
How many centimeters tall is over, how many centimeters long?
Okay, so you want to do it for the man in one ratio and the tree in the other?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do the forest ranger height over the forest ranger shadow can be set equal to what? If we start this way, what do we have to do in the other one?
Height on top of shadow.
So tree height over tree shadow. Again, this is the most important part of the homework. If you don't have a good setup, you're not going to get a good, reasonable answer. So that's one way it could be set up. There are others that would be correct, but this will work. Okay, so this is how you're going to start the problem. You have to do the diagram. You can make it as fancy as you want or as basic as you want, like we just did. You're going to set up a proportion using words, and now you're going to substitute numbers and the variable into your proportion model, and you go from there. So what are we going to have for a proportion with numbers in it? Elsie, you get to give us this, so I want somebody else to give us the numbers. Devontae?
150 centimeters over 45 centimeters and equal to X over 195 centimeters.
Okay, and we get to actually leave centimeters out of the picture too here, okay? Out of our proportion model. Okay, you guys know how to solve that goal. Get it done. Do your cross products, do your dividing. This might be one of those days that you're going to be really happy you remembered your calculator. What did you get for X?
650.
650? Okay. Now, we're going to write sentence answers today also, okay? So we're back to getting some English practice. What was the question asked here? What is the height of the tree? Okay, so what would be a good sentence answer for this problem? What would we do? Okay, Cody.
The height of the tree is 650 centimeters tall.
Okay, the height of the tree is 650, and I do let you use the number, but then we do use the, everything else we write out, we don't abbreviate. The height of the tree is 650 centimeters. Do we need to use the word tall?
No.
Because what takes care of that for us? Height. We don't have to say the word tall. So let's just stop, let's not take it in. But what do we have to do that some of us just can't? I mean, you think it was a hard thing to do, punctuate. Okay? And what do we do at the beginning of our sentence?
Use capital.
Okay, is this a capital T?
No.
In some people's world it is. Text messaging, maybe, but not in the world of still having to get scored on a writing assignment. That's not a capital T. Okay, so we have to make sure we know how to write sentences well. Now, let's decide if our answer is reasonable. Do we have a reasonable answer? Does it seem reasonable that this would be 650 right here? What do you think? Is that reasonable?
Yes.
Why?
Because.
Because your calculator is dependable?
No.
Because we're doing it as a class together?
Julia, why is it reasonable?
Because the trees are taller and bigger.
Okay, so the tree should be taller than the guy, I think. Okay, why should the tree be taller than the guy? Are there trees that are there any trees out in the real world that are, you know, not taller than you? We didn't say this was shorter, okay, but what would be one way we would know that this tree is taller than the forest ranger? What would be a way we could know that? Durante?
Divide 150 by 45 and 650 by 195.
Okay, and what should happen?
They should be equal.
They should be equal, okay, that would, so we could do it mathematically, we could say if you take 150 and divide it by 45, it should be the same as if you take 650 and divide it by 195, okay? Jossie?
Well, the shadow on the forest ranger is smaller than the height, and okay, I was
Okay, so the man's shadow is shorter than his height.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the other side, the shadow is really big, so it would have to be bigger.
Okay, so going with that reasoning, the guy's shadow is less than his height. So the tree shadow should be less than the height we got for the tree, shouldn't it? Is it? Okay, so we can feel good about that. Okay, what if we'd have gotten, you know, like, just 200? Would you have felt good about that? It's still big, you know, still bigger. 200 seem reasonable? So we have to have some reasoning with, you know, like, so even though I said you have to make sure you have a good setup, what if you don't have a good setup? You get an answer and you just go on and you don't take time to stop and say, is this answer reasonable? If it isn't, you don't take time to do that, then, you know, you're just not helping yourself go back and find where your mistake is and getting it set up properly to begin with. Okay, try the next one on your own. Go.